As someone who's written a book, it feels biased to say that I think stories are incredibly powerful, but there's really no doubt about it. If you want to share a message, teach something, or persuade someone, storytelling is probably the way you want to go. Hello friends, I'm AshleyStahl, career coach, host of the U-Turn podcast, speaker, and best-selling author of the book also named U-Turn. Get unstuck, discover your direction, and design your dream career. And you might not think this is relevant to your business or your corporate job, but you can use storytelling way more than you think. Do you ever give presentations? Need to influence customers or maybe stakeholders, or maybe you're marketing a new product? Research shows that messages delivered as stories can be up to 22 times more memorable than just facts. People forget facts, but they don't forget powerful stories. When we really look at it, storytelling is a business skill. When we know how to do it well, it can boost revenue, improve customer loyalty, and create a strong marketing strategy. But remember, not all business decisions are based on logic. When you tell a story instead of just sharing statistics, you create an emotional response. And we all know people make decisions based on emotions all the time. Decisions are often a matter of the heart, not just the mind. So if you want to learn this incredibly powerful tool, you're in the right place. Here's how to be a powerful storyteller. Number one, make it personal. As Martin Scorsese once said, what is the most personal is the most creative. I love this so much. When you're vulnerable and you reveal some of your own life, you are far more likely to connect with your audience than a storyteller who shares nothing. The coronavirus pandemic reminded all of us that we're connected, and that's why it's no surprise that your innermost thoughts make you relatable. In fact, it's only human nature to want to know the story of other human beings. I mean, which would influence you more? A marketing professional talking about their team's new mathematical model to ensure social media effectiveness? Or a marketing professional's personal experience on how they struggled with measuring their social media effectiveness and how they got the idea to develop an amazing new system that has never been seen before? I think we all know the answer. Number two, know your audience. Good storytellers know who they're telling the story to and who's going to give them attention in the first place. For example, when Steve Jobs stood on a stage to tell the story of the newest Apple product, he knew that he was talking to tech buffs and Apple lovers. He based his story on that. If you recognize who your target audience is, you can consider their preferences and what drives them. This makes for a very powerful narrative. If you want to be a good storyteller, you always need to know your audience's pains and hopes and dreams and motivations while coming up with your story. Make them feel understood, and sharing your story creates a powerful connection. Number three, don't be afraid to be enthusiastic. Telling a story is like painting a picture or showing a movie with your words. You want the audience to be focused on the story. This means using the power of pausing when you want to make a point. Really letting them soak it in. This means using different voices to convey different characters. Storytelling effectively can come with the responsibility to do a little improv. This means also enthusiastically focusing on details and imagery. Number four, show and don't tell. When it comes to storytelling, this is a very common phrase, and rightfully so. It's basically the golden rule of writing. This is where instead of using a description, the story and characters are related through sensory details and actions. Now, this might be kind of confusing, so let me give an example. Telling looks like this. Our car pulled up outside, a man got out, he looked angry, suddenly I felt afraid. Showing looks like this. I jumped as I heard a car door slam outside. There was a rugged man with a scowl on his face stomping up at the front door. A loud thumping started in my chest and I felt my body shaking. Which one captivates you more? If your answer is the one that shows, you're right. This is how you paint a picture with your words. Always show, don't just tell. Number five, build up to a climax. The climax makes us tense up and sit forward in our seats because we can hardly wait to see what happens. And we all love the climax of a movie, like a big fight scene. A powerful story will bring together the tension that's been building up into one scene that leaves your audience in awe, answers questions, and brings the story forward or even to a conclusion. If you want a strong story, always put in a good climax. You want the listeners to be thinking, what's going to be happening next? This should be something they always will remember because it's so dramatic. Number 6, End with a message, maybe a positive one ideally. The best talks not only include a conflict and a climax, but also a positive message. Throughout a story, most characters usually learn some wisdom or advice that help them overcome an obstacle and positively change. Sum up your story into a short and concise but memorable phrase that you want your listeners to take away from the story. Basically, ask yourself, what's your message? What's the reason you're telling the story? I urge you to practice your storytelling and use it in your career. You'll find it's a powerful tool to influence others and convey your message. And if you're curious to go even deeper on storytelling, check out the U-Turn podcast episode with John Romanello. He is an incredible step-by-step storyteller, and I can't wait for you to listen. Talk to you next week.